Seagulls a minute ago. I thought they'd come for lunch, but the little girl came to have a look at them, and of course, they disappeared, didn't they? I'm not a great fan of seagulls, I have to be honest, so it doesn't matter. But there's some little blackbirds, and I must admit, no one seems to know what they are, but that's because none of us are bird fanciers. Actually, I don't know whether that's the word, but anyway. We will find out. Now, I'm cooking some barbecue because this is the time of year for barbecue, isn't it? I mean, this is what we do. So I'm just going to do something really, really simple that you can whip up, you know, when you've got your caravan. Our producer, Mr. Donnelly, has a caravan, and he keeps telling me about all the wonderful things he cooks on his barbecue. He's an awful cook, so I don't quite know. But he tells me he does well. Anyway, Mr. Donnelly, this is just for you because this is real simple stuff. First of all, we're just going to make a skewer. And I've just got some really well-trimmed lamb here. That's just backstrap, it's called. So you go into your butcher and ask for some trim backstrap because barbecues these days should be lean and mean. Forget all this fat on them, it's bad for you. You don't want that. And all I'm then going to do is put it onto a skewer, just one of these wooden ones. Always remember, you soak that in cold water for about half an hour. That stops it from burning. And to that, I'm then going to add some red onion, which I've just cut into quarters. So we just put it like that. So as I said, this is real simple stuff. We'll make a very simple marinade to go with it. And we might even make a little simple salad as well, using tomatoes, which are beautiful at this time of the year. So, you know, all those nice ingredients. Lamb's good, tomatoes are good, you know, that's what we use. And that'll do us. We'll just do a couple here. And as I said to you, I'm going to make a really simple marinade for this. Just grab a bowl and I'll just whisk up something. Just some olive oil. Use a nice fruity olive oil with nice flavour in it. Put some seasoning in. I always use sea salt or rock salt because it's got a better flavour. And the other thing about it, I know it sounds mad, but it's not as salty because it's a more natural process or a more natural ingredient. So, you know, use that. And the other thing that I like about that sea and rock salt is that it's Australian, which is great. And a squeeze of lemon. This is enough for the two of them. And then what we will do is just put those skewers in a dish like that, any kind of dish, and just pour that lemony rosemary. Did I mention the rosemary? I can't remember. So it's all it is lemon, oil, seasonings, and some rosemary. And I'm going to leave that for about 15 to 30 minutes. Now don't leave it any longer because what's going to happen is because you've got that lemon in, it can cook the meat because of the acid in it. So 15, 30 minutes. And while that's happening, I want you to have a look around these beautiful botanical gardens because I think they are very special.
I love dancing salsa.
At the new time, 8:30 Tuesday, an all-new case that smells like terror.
If you're trying to freak me out, it's working.
Join the hunt for a seductive killer.
Night after night on my bed, I have sought my true love.
A killer with a desire for mass murder.
How can a man with that background murder innocent people?
To stop him, Goran will try every trick in the book.
Go ahead, impress me.
But even that may not be enough. All new Criminal Intent, 8:30 Tuesday.
Nothing beats fresh fruit and vegetables at the height of their season. And look at these beautiful Bilo tomatoes. Just perfect for those delicious and simple meals.
Bilo, extra value for you.
And me.
There's nothing quite like a home-cooked meal. Roast lamb, roast pork, fresh veggies, chicken pie. And there's nothing quite like the way that Mum cooks it, or used to cook it. Well, there is, only without all the trouble of having to prepare it. Boston Market, where home-style meals are what we're all about. Boston Market, you'll never want to cook at home again.
Crystal Air from Airwick, an innovative glass design with waves of real perfume, which fragrance your home for over 4 weeks. Airwick, fragrances that change your world.
She's changed.
Yeah, she wasn't like this at school.
No, she was as quiet as a mouse.
looks different too.
You know what it is, don't you?
Look,
No kids.
you can always tell.
Discover Valia. Feed the spirit.
Close-ups, occupational hazard. You need great skin, not a lot of makeup. Neutrogena Porefining Cream really works to visibly reduce the appearance of pores. And smaller pores mean smoother, finer, more beautiful skin. Up close.
Sometimes old favourites are the best. What about good old roast leg of lamb with lots of crispy roast potatoes, tangy mint sauce, all from Bilo, of course. So get cooking. I'll be over for dinner later.
Bilo, extra value for you.
And me. I told you it's a spectacular place, isn't it? It really is very special. Now, that lamb's looking good. It's been there 15 minutes. We will just throw it onto the barbecue or grill. And I'll just keep that oil because I'll brush that on as it cooks. And just while that's happening, I'm going to make the simplest of salads. As I said to you, you only want something very simple with this, so we'll just make a tomato salad. Look at these beautiful ripe tomatoes. We'll take the cores out. We'll take the little, what do you call those? Labels, I suppose, but there was another name for them, I've forgotten. Forget it, Ian. Don't know what I'm talking about here, do I? Right, so 2 or 3 tomatoes will be plenty for this. I'm going to keep this salad real simple because, you know, when the tomatoes are this good, why obscure it? Don't put any other ingredients, just cut these into wedges like that. I'll cut them in half because I'm actually going to put them on bread in sort of the style of bruschetta. It's not really a bruschetta, but that kind of style. So I don't want it too big, but I also want it chunky. So, you know, not too small either. All right, we'll just throw that in the bowl. I better turn that lamb, actually. See, that's what we're talking about. Nice, crusty exterior. Nice and pink inside, but some real crust on it, which is good. Just keep on basting it with your olive oil and lemon and rosemary. Right, now that is looking good. And we will just dress the salad very simply with some olive oil, a little bit of balsamic, not too much. Once again, some seasoning. That's sea salt and some freshly ground pepper, and let's just toss that around. All right, that's looking good. Let's put that off to the side. I'll just turn this board over because I want to cut. I won't turn the board over because it's dirty on the other side. Mr. Moon, we will just clean that up. Everyone's misbehaving today. Mr. Moon, Mr. Donnelly, all of them. All right, that's starting to look good. I'll just pull that down a little bit because I want to cook a piece of bread. And I've just got a nice country loaf here, and I'm just going to cut one thick slice per person. And we'll put that on there. Put it in the juices, that's really nice. That's not a problem at all. Let's just have a look. Looking good, actually. All right, we're pretty close, actually. The bread's nearly ready. You just want it to get a little bit of a flavour of the grill, not too much, really just a small amount. Just like that'll be enough. It's got some of the flavours of the cooking juices. Then we'll just put it on the plate. And on top of that, I will put just a small amount of this tomato salad with the lovely dressing. All right, now the skewers, just alongside, just like that. A nice sprig of rosemary because, remember, try to keep your garnish in the flavours. Actually, you'd mostly get away with just one skewer. I think I've been a bit greedy there. So maybe we'll take one of those off, move that into the centre. Now that I've made a right mess of everything, clean up the plate. All right, just to finish off, I might just add a little bit more of those juices over the top. I'll try not to make a mess now that I've cleaned. Even a little bit on the lamb might be nice. All right, a real simple dish. Mr. Donnelly could cook that. I don't know, maybe. You could at home though.
Sometimes it's like a broken heart can never. Their wedding day. You and I will be here once again.
McLean's presents The Secret Life Wedding, 8:30 tonight on 10.
I was only 8 years old when my parents left us, 3 girls, to find work in the city. I and my sisters had a small pushcart for ourselves. We depended much on gathering recyclable junks to earn money for us to buy food. Life was really hard, and I felt like I had to grow up fast for my 2 younger sisters. That was the down point of my life. I actually got sponsored that same year, and since then, life started to change. Pearl Vision provided me a better future by sending me to school, by providing clean water supply, and health and sanitation. Child sponsorship does make a difference to a needy child's life because it gives them hope and opportunities for life, opportunity for a better life.
You can give a child like Ethel a brighter future by sponsoring them for as little as around $1 a day. Sponsor online now or call World Vision on 13 32 40 today.
Have you heard?
About Prouds the Jeweller's massive gold and silver sale, 20 to 50% off. These 9-carat gold earrings, half price. Selected gold chains, half price. These silver chains and bracelets, 50% off. These silver pendants, 50% off.
Wait, there's more.
Selected gold bracelets, half price. These gold earrings from $29. These silver rings, 50% off. These silver earrings, 20 to 50% off. It's the gold and silver 20 to 50% off sale.
See you there.
On now at Prouds the Jewellers.
Boston Market. You'll never want to cook at home again.
Avoiding your daily 8 glasses of water? Try new Water Plus. It's mouth-watering water.
I've been talking a bit lately about things that have gone out of fashion. The other thing that seems to have gone out of fashion is the omelette. Now, the omelette used to be the most popular thing in the world. Every restaurant would have an omelette on its menu. I actually think D'Estasio and St Kilda still have a lobster omelette on their menu. It's one of their most popular items. I think it's been on ever since they opened. But that aside, it just does seem that they're not as popular as they were. I think it's because people tend to overcook them. So let's just do this really simple one, which you could use for breakfast or for a light lunch, whichever you like. And I'm doing a large one, which I would then cut into wedges or let people cut into wedges. So this is not just for one person, so don't get worried about the amount of eggs I'm putting in. To me, this is an omelette for about 4 people, and we'll try not to put any shell in there. And I'm going to use 7 or 8 eggs because I've got a big pan here. And to that, I then add some seasoning. Now use some sea salt. This is good Aussie, yeah, great stuff. Use sea salt for it, please. It's not as salty, better flavour. Some freshly ground pepper and a good slurp of cream. And I'll just put that pan just onto heat up. Now I know I can get this off. See, I'm not silly. I can get that up. And then we will just beat it up with a fork You just want to aerate it and break up the eggs. Then, a good knob of butter into that pan, and we just wait for that to melt. Now, you get the butter reasonably hot. You certainly don't want it smoking. And then the eggs go in. And all we then do, in a similar fashion to making scrambled eggs, we just keep moving them around away from the edges. As the soft curds form, we fold that in. You can see what I mean about the air. You see there's lots of bubbles there. That's the other secret. All right, see, this is starting to happen there. Look, just have a look there. You can see all those soft curds. This is just like making scrambled eggs. Now what you do is you just allow it to set on the bottom, just for a very brief period, because it is an omelette we're making, but not much more than that. And then we'll just pull it off the heat because it will continue to cook, and we are putting it under the grill. So what we now do is lay some tomatoes. Now this is the secret to making an omelette. You have to take it off before those eggs are properly cooked, because they continue to cook because the heat's still in the pan. And if you don't take it off, what will happen is you'll get this rubbery, awful thing, which we don't like, do we? Now, on top of that, I'm putting some grated Gruyere, a generous amount. This is starting to look more like an omelette for 6 people, doesn't it? Not 4. The amount of ingredients I'm putting in it. All right. And then under one of your overhead grills. And you just cook that until the cheese has just melted. Forget it being brown, you don't want to cook it too much. So until it's just melted, and then we'll be right. And just while that's happening, I've just got some rocket here, which I'm going to put on the top. And I'll just dress that very lightly. A little bit of oil, olive of course, a little bit of balsamic, and some seasoning. Once again, some sea salt and some freshly ground pepper. Then we'll just toss that around, just so it gleams. All right, that's looking good. Oops, sorry about that. Dropping things. Let's just have a look. You never know with these overhead grills. Some are hotter than others, so you do keep an eye on it. As I said, all I'm trying to do is melt that cheese, because if I left it for it to get too brown, there's every chance the eggs would then be overcooked. We don't want that. Now, I know this sounds a bit rustic. That looks good, doesn't it? Back to what I say, this sounds a bit rustic, but I actually just serve it at the table, just in the pan. I reckon it looks good. It's a bit strange, I know. Just with that pile of rocket on the top. Just make sure that you put something between the pan and the table, because it's rather hot. Now, don't you forget to visit my Cooking Club website. There's reviews, my recipes, and loads of information on everything from cooking schools and wine favourites to food festivals. Catch me at www.hueyscookingclub.com. Remember, that's hueyscookingclub.com.
Coming up next in the morning news, the time for diplomacy is over. George W. Bush warns that tomorrow is D-Day, ordering the United Nations to make a final decision on Iraq. Also, Australian health authorities on alert as a deadly new strain of pneumonia sweeps Asia. New research shows why taking just one hit of ecstasy can cause long-term brain damage. And Irish eyes smiling right across the country. Join me for those details, plenty more next.
You rush home, you're tired, and the last thing you feel like doing is preparing dinner. Well, here's a quick way to help save you time. Whenever you cook a curry or a casserole, make twice as much. Freeze the leftovers in Gladware containers. Next time you're in a hurry, just place the Gladware container straight from the freezer into the microwave to thaw and then reheat. Mmm, delicious. So now I can rush off to bed. It's a wrap.
Do you want to do it?
You want to talk pork?
Yes.
Sear that pork.
Searing.
Make it sizzle.
You rogue.
Sizzle, sizzle.
Yes.
Don't go too far.
Oh, I'm out of control.
Remember, you know how you like your pork.
Yes.
Pink and juicy.
Bad man.
And succulent.
Dinner time.
What are they doing? Don't ask.
Kids, dinner.
At Jenny Craig, we'll help you get healthy.
My fitness, that's changed a lot. A hell of a lot. Lost a lot of weight. Probably 23 kilos on Jenny Craig. My consultant was really good. She gave me a lot of advice. You feel a lot better. You can breathe and you don't sweat as much and you're not puffed. You know, just always happy. You look at life different. It feels a lot better.
At Jenny Craig, take off 6 kilos for just $16. Call Jenny on 131 992 today for all the help you need.
Tonight, relax, make yourself
comfortable.
Get set for happy hour on 10. No! On The Simpsons, it's the restaurant with a difference.
The forks are made out of Lego.
On Becca, anyone for a decaf latte with a twist?
The machine's not working.
You must have overloaded the outlet. Didn't you smell something burning?
I thought that was just the computer.
It's happy hour with The Simpsons at 7:30. Followed by Becca at 8 tonight.
Now, Melanie, who was 10 years old, wrote to me to say that she wants to make a pudding for her mother, but she's not a very good cook. Now, Melanie, this is just for you. Oh, and anyone else who wants to try it. And it is the simplest pudding you will ever make in your life. It's really, really easy. Right, you do have to measure things. 100 grams of self-raising flour, 100 grams of caster sugar, 100 grams of soft butter. Put that in there too. I better get it all in there, hadn't I? After telling you to be careful with the measurements. And 2 eggs. Now, you can either put this in a food processor and just whiz it up a bit, or, sorry for the noise there, Rob, or like me, and I'll just move these things over a bit, like me, you can just use one of these hand mixers. You just want to mix it up, so it's no big deal, but as I said, in a food processor if you like. But this is also an easy way to do it. And we just need to mix it up just to make sure it's well combined. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stop that for a second, because what I'm also going to add is 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. So good tablespoons, because it's the old story, it's sticky stuff, it's like honey, isn't it? So, you know, be a little bit generous, because it won't all come off the spoon. And what you should do is maybe run the spoon under the hot water first. See, I've got all the ideas, I just don't do them. I'm a bit hopeless, aren't I? And we'll also add the grated rind of 1 lemon. You could also add some orange rind if you wanted to. I think the lemon just gives it a nice sort of bite to it. And Melanie, you can use a normal grater, of course. You don't have to use one of these fancy ones. All right. And then we just mix it up again, just to get that golden syrup and lemon right through. And that'll do us. And I'll just grab my spatula so that I get all that off there. Or as much as I can. And we'll do the same with the other one. Right, we'll just put that to the side. And what I've also done is I've stolen a packet of Charlotte's sultanas. She loves these. So I pinched them when she wasn't looking, because she'd get all upset. And we'll put about half of those in there. Well, about 2/3 I just noticed. And we just mix those in as well. And then we grab this bowl, and all I've done here, Melanie, is I've melted some butter, and I just got a brush, and I brushed it all throughout, and I also floured it. Just a little bit of flour, just dust it over, and just do it like that so you don't end up with a whole lot of flour in the bottom. And then in the bottom of this, we put another 2 or 3 tablespoons of golden syrup. Now that's accurately measured, that's about 2 or 3 tablespoons, isn't it? Because it's nice, because that melts over the top. And then let's just throw in this mixture. Sorry, Rob, I'm in your way. just like that. Just in one of these pudding bowls. You want a plain one because it's going into the microwave. And just settle that down a bit, just smooth it out. Just like that. And just grab some Glad wrap. Just cover that. Just like that. And you poke one hole in it, just so that it allows the steam to escape, and then into the microwave. Now, the microwave, 100%, that's the 100% temperature, for 4 minutes exactly. And to test it, all you need to do is have one of these skewers, and you put it into the centre of that pudding, and if it comes out clean, it's ready. All right, let's have a look. Looking good. See, it didn't look like it was going to end up quite that risen, did it? Now let's just check it, and you'll see what I mean. See, look at that. See, that's come out completely clean. Now let's just put it out in the bowl. Just put the bowl on top like, the plate on top like that, and just be careful because that bowl's hot. So, you know, I've got a towel on it, just like that. Turn it over, cross your fingers and hope. Oh, look at that. Huey, you've done well. And as I said, with some King Island cream just over the top. Now that is a beautiful pudding, and that is so simple, isn't it? If you'd like any recipes from today's show, call us on 1902 211 963. And don't forget to check out this week's fresh food specials in the Bilo catalogue, or visit the Bilo website on www.bilo.com.au.